So I was watching the movie um, Dark Phoenix over the weekend with my wife when it first was published to Disney Plus for the first time over Labor Day weekend, 2021. And one thing I've always paid close attention to is the overall behavior of the characters, especially in superhero films. There's this trend that's been happening, especially since the women's Me Too movement, and you're seeing more female roles in superhero films, and also for villains, female villains, and they are making them more powerful than the men superheroes, and also they are at the same time they are becoming more arrogant, more entitled. They are to the point where they are becoming condescending towards men, even the men superheroes in these films. That especially goes for the latest X-Men film, Dark Phoenix. She's talking to Professor X.
Can't actually remember the last time you were the one risking something. And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
And she said in a very condescending tone. And if that wasn't enough, towards like the middle of the film, when Jean Grey started to really question where her dad was and whether or not her dad was still alive, and she just wasn't trusting Professor X, and she came across an alien from a different planet, and this alien disguised as a human was convincing her by telling her that pay no attention to these small-minded men. They don't know who you are or what you're capable of.
All the words you've been taught to keep you in line. Words created a very long time ago by men with very little minds. They can't begin to comprehend what you are. Even your X-Men.
She's just very condescending. But then again, we're talking about a villain here, and someone who's being very selfish and wanting like all the power to herself. And so she was trying to convince Jean Grey that her kind and her people are against her, and that she was all there for her and for her own best interest. And towards the very end of the film, when Jean almost got all of her powers taken away from the alien, she was not trusting Professor X. She thought Professor X was there to kill her.
Have you come to kill me too?
No. Please, Jean.
Because she knew that she was super powerful and way too powerful and going to destroy everyone, or she thought she was. Professor X still believed in her and didn't want to see her go into total destruction. And he felt that there was still hope for her. He was there to help her and nothing more, and understanding.
We could be your new family.
What I'm getting at here is I've noticed throughout the past decade, and through social media, and it's just getting worse, especially recently. I've noticed more women carrying this attitude like they are better than men, they are more intelligent than men, and as they are talking to them in a condescending way, they have this superiority complex. And I can guarantee you, the women that act like that more than likely are struggling with either narcissistic personality disorder, or they could be having schizotypal personality disorder, bipolar disorder, maybe even borderline personality disorder. And the reason why I bring those three or four up is because those are ones where, you know, they really struggle with finding out who they are and what they're about. They are dealing with identity crisis, identity personality disorders, and they're pretty much trying to find themselves. And when they go to see like superhero films like that, or any other kind of film where they could feel like they can identify with, it's giving them hope, but it's not in the best realistic way. It's not for their own best interest, even though it makes them feel good in the moment. That might make them feel powerful, like they can do anything. But you know, some of these films are very influential and inspirational. They can be, but only if whoever is influenced and inspired by these films is using them for educational purposes, perhaps, and looking at it from a realistic perspective, and not taking it to heart. You know, in the past we've had some people who have actually believed that they were supervillains or superheroes. Take, for instance, a man, he believed he was the Joker, and he went into the theater during a Batman movie and he shot and killed people. Directors and filmmakers, writers and producers have a huge responsibility on their hands, and especially with the rise of social media and a lot of people wanting to be heard and be seen. There's a lot of narcissism that's being developed in this younger generation, and I think it's time they put more realism and reality and more of a humanistic perspective on superhero movies, or any kind of movie. Make these superheroes and supervillains face realistic consequences like a human being would for their actions and their behaviors. Let the audience know that there are consequences for your behaviors and actions and your words. Otherwise, it's going to continue to get worse. They'll continue to think and believe that they can just go ahead and say and do whatever they want without any repercussions. So, anyhow, if you or someone you know is struggling with different identity crisis or personality disorder types that I mentioned earlier, just, you know, make sure you or they are seeing it from a education or a realistic perspective. Actually talk about the film and stuff, and talk about life, real life in general, and see where it goes from there. And see, hopefully they will get a better perspective and idea of what is real and what's not real, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And it's for the benefit of them and everyone around them, because what they say and do does affect others. It doesn't only affect them, it affects others around them. So, with that said, everyone stay safe out there, and I hope whatever forms of entertainment you choose to be involved with in your life and different people in your life, I hope that you take time to reflect on not only yourself but others around you, and what is going to be the most beneficial for you and others around you. Alright, thanks.